We are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode 12 of the Why Do Boys Make podcast. I'm Fitzy. And joining me, as he does every week, except for last week, is my co-host, Corbett. Corbett, how's it been, man?
Oh, man, I'm still full. I just did nothing but eat last week. It was great. It's been a great week off. But, you know, it's great to be back. I don't know. Like, what else am I doing with my life right now?
Honestly, on the one hand, I was right. I had a very productive Tuesday last week, got my green bean casserole cooked up, which, by the way, we'll get into it. The sides. Green bean casserole, underrated how little effort you need to make a green bean casserole. It's open 3 cans and use a spoon. It's wonderful. So I guess, hey, speaking of that, we can start right off with just, giving thanks. And, giving thanks. That's the whole point of Thanksgiving. Corby, I want your take on some of the best side dishes, or maybe the best single side dish on the Thanksgiving Day table.
Yeah, well, seeing this is a fantasy football podcast where we talk about fantasy football, I thought we should start with talking about Thanksgiving food.
Right.
Yeah, it was kind of the first thing that I thought of was this Thanksgiving, I just ate so much, right? And so I was thinking about all of the food that I ate. I was trying to decide which side dish was my favorite. And I think you hit the nail on the head. And I think the green bean casserole, like without a doubt, it's like I had some today. I brought my final leftovers into the office and I ate it, and I had some turkey with it. And it just like the green bean casserole just meshes well with everything, the stuffing, the potatoes. It's just fantastic in every sense of the word. It's amazing.
And it's not even, I'll say it's not even that bad for you. Like casserole, before I cooked it, I thought that it was like, oh, there must be a ton of cream cheese or something in it. It's a can of soup, 2 cans of beans, and like a cup of milk. Yeah, you get the crispy fried onions probably aren't the healthiest thing for you, but oh my God, it's wonderful.
Yeah,
I love green bean casserole. For me, you mentioned stuffing. I'm going to sound like a snob here, but if it's the real homemade stuffing, which my dad does every year, oh man, that's what I'm looking forward to, without a doubt.
Yep, stuffing definitely a close second. Brandy makes everything by hand, so like it's just unbelievable. It's so good. I've realized that not every side is like the best. Like not every side is a home run for Thanksgiving. So like I was trying to think of the worst side dish, and honestly, if you had asked me a couple of years ago, I probably would have said that mashed potatoes were my favorite. But I think at this point, I just don't see the point. Like they're like potatoes are fine, but they're just mashed potatoes. I don't know.
No, definitely. And like, I mean, you put it right next to like mashed turnips or something, which is another like pretty common Thanksgiving side. I think a lot of people have them together, and it's like, I'm always going for the orange dish. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Worst Thanksgiving side for me. I don't even know if you can call this one a side. It's almost like saying the best side is gravy. But I think the worst side is probably the cranberry sauce, to the point where I'm not even touching it. And you might not think it's a side. Alex is behind me. Mrs. Vrona, that's Alex's mom. If you're listening, apologies. She makes this cranberry salad, which is like cranberry sauce without the sweetness. It's just cranberries and gelatin.
Okay.
I always have to try it because she made it. And, she's like, oh, you love this, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, love my cranberry salad.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the cranberry sauce either. I will put it on my white meat for my turkey, but other than that, I'm not going to just take a spoonful of cranberries and put it in my mouth. It's fine. Yeah. Not the worst.
Now, in the holiday season here, we're getting into that, but it strikes me that, Thanksgiving may be still topical for us on Tuesday as we record. It'll be December by the time this pod drops. It'll be December 4th when you all are listening to it. So, as we're kind of changing seasons here into the second holiday season, I want your take, Corby. Christmas tree or other holiday decor, when is it acceptable to have that up? Right after Thanksgiving? Is it December 1st, or is it whenever you want? What's your take on that?
I'm of the mindset of it's whenever you want. If you need it right after Halloween, that's totally fine. We decorated either last week or the week before. We didn't do the Christmas tree until after Thanksgiving dinner, though. I think that's going to be a new thing. I liked that. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, I am of the mindset of just do it whenever you want. I don't care. Like my house is decorated. I've got that really creepy Santa Claus outside my house right now. I've got the lights up and everything. But again, I enjoy Christmas, so it doesn't faze me. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
Just please, hold on, for the love of God, take your shit off after New Year's. I've got somebody who lives down the street from me. One of their trees outside their house decorated for the entire year.
Oh
Never
my
took it
God.
down. Never took it down, even for like Halloween.
Oh
It was
man.
insane.
Did they light it up on Halloween night?
Well, no. So
Okay.
there was no lights on the tree, but basically the tree has like a big Santa hat on it and like a big Santa beard and like a big Santa nose, and it just sat like that
That's not even hard to take off. That's wild.
all the entire summer, literally the entire year.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Crazy.
Wow. I see. I had actually a pretty similar take. I think you should put up the decorations whenever you want to. Though, like you said, I think decorating the Christmas tree is a good switch into the holiday season. I think that there's something to be said about that. So I'm no differing opinions here on the pod today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've got somebody in my neighborhood here who Thanksgiving night, they had a blow up turkey decoration out in front. It was still Thanksgiving and they were taking that down and putting out the big joy sign in front of their lawn. Like these people are ready for it.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah. I want to be there someday.
While we're on the subject of still the holidays, because we are, I guess, holiday people, you've been living with your partner for a long time, and I have as well. So how do you manage the secrecy in terms of like shopping for them?
All right. So here's the hardest part with Alex is like I've got basically it's our joint Amazon account on my phone. We don't have Amazon Prime, but we'll still get some stuff from there. Already this season, I have been spoiled because I got the push notification that your reusable chopsticks have arrived. I was like, I didn't order any of those. Alex, did you? And she's like, well, there it goes. Because we get grocery store sushi, and I always forget to bring the chopsticks. So her gift was a gift for us because I always forget to give those to her. So we made a rule where for the entire month of December, I am not going to go into a certain room, and she is not going to go into a certain room. In an apartment, I actually don't know how we did it. I think I basically kept stuff in like I know a couple times I've put stuff in like the tire well from my trunk in the car.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is tough. What about you? Do you do something like that? Cordon off the attic?
Yeah. So I think usually what we do is if we're ordering something online, we don't buy anything from Amazon anymore. Haven't for a couple years now. If when we were buying from Amazon, it was like don't look at the Amazon deliveries.
Yeah.
And number one, don't have your notifications on. Number two, don't look at the Amazon account and don't look at the order history. So that's the easy way to avoid that. But basically what we do is when something comes in and you know that it's a present for the other person, you just wrap it instantly and just put it under the tree and just culminate it as it comes in. So the closer you get to Christmas and the more stuff begins to fill in underneath the tree. That works out pretty well, and it's also like more exciting because maybe someday you'll walk it. I've been out all day, and then I come home and there's more stuff under the tree. Or the same thing happens for Brandy. In terms of like shopping, though, what I usually do is I'll have a note sheet like on my phone for all year, and every time Brandy mentions something that they want or they're interested in, I will put that down, and then by the time it's Christmas time, I've got like 15 things that I can think of and do. And I will usually just take one Saturday in December and just do all of my shopping in one day for anything that I haven't bought online. So that's usually how I do it.
That is so smart. Honestly, that is so smart. Alex and I went one step further, and we have a shared Google Doc where we put things that we kind of want that we wouldn't buy for ourselves. So like,
Nice. I like that.
Yeah, where it's like, something we did last year too was we set a $100 limit so that it's not just like a escalating arms race of gifts.
Yeah.
We said we're going to say this is what we are going to spend on each other. We're going to deal shop. That's the best gift that somebody who shares a bank account can give.
Of course. I totally agree with that. Setting a limit is super important.
Hey, I guess I'll transition out of the holidays. Setting a limit. This we'll get into all the matchups. We'll get into the real news of the league. But I think the biggest piece of news is the fact that since our last pod recorded, Eric changed his team name.
Yeah.
For the first time since 2018, he is not Drew Yeah. I'm shocked after a winning streak to change the team name and get some mojo. What do you think? Do you like the new one?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little underwhelmed. Like,
Ooh.
you go from Drew Yeah, which is a very classic inside joke between all of us that I would still like look at and still smile. And then what do? You throw it away for big winner? I don't know, man. I think it's like a 3. That's just me. And that's not even because I'm just playing him this week, which we will also talk about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, to me, I was just so surprised. I love team name changes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a big proponent of it, especially because it's big winner with a screenshot of a stat that happened in like week 11, week 10, maybe. Yeah. Like I forget exactly when Jonathan Taylor put up his 53.2 points, but now I'll always remember that he did. What it also locks Eric into, though, is having to change his team name again sometime.
Yeah.
So
right. He can't be big
I'm a fan of
forever.
That.
I like
exactly.
that too.
Exactly.
I think, that's a good silver lining. I like that. Okay, now it's a 4. Nowhere to go but up, baby.
There we go. So I guess with that, do you want to tap into the couple of weeks we missed since our last pod here, Corby?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hop in.
We're gonna be kind of light on these matchups. We won't be diving into everything like we have. I'm just gonna list off first week 11's results, and then I'll have you kind of chime in, and we can revisit any that we'd like to. So first up, Brandy taking on Tyler in week 11. Tyler gets the win, and a pretty convincing win. This is Tyler. We'll talk about, has been on a bit of a streak here. The 2 humans were on Tyler. The coin picked Brandy, as did Adam.
Next matchup here, we had Mike versus Colin, where literally everyone picked Colin and everyone was right.
Next up, a Chris Bowl for the ages? ? Nah, Chris P put up less than 100 against Chris Cloud, and Adam and Fitzy both on the Cloud. Corby and the coin both on the Patina.
Next matchup was me versus Taylor, and everybody picked me except for the coin, because the coin doesn't have eyes or a brain.
Next up, we had Chris Colby versus Fitzy. Corby, you believed in me. You were wrong. Everybody else, including the coin, was right to pick Chris as the skid continues here.
Spoiler alert. This is the last time that I believe in you.
Uh-huh.
Let's move right along to Adam versus Eric, where Eric picked up the W. Fitzy, you and I both picked Adam. Coin picks Eric, and Adam picked Adam. And we were wrong. So for week 11, I go 3-3. Fitzy goes 5-1. The coin goes 3-3. The guest goes 4-2. For week 12, let's just rapid fire. Mike versus Chris Cloud. Chris Cloud wins, no problem. Nobody's surprised. Because we haven't talked about these, I picked Mike for some reason. The coin picked Mike. Fitzy picked Chris Cloud. Fitzy gets that W.
Next matchup we picked was Taylor versus Colin. Can you guess who Corby and Fitzy picked? We picked Colin. The coin, again, without eyes, picks Taylor, and it really helps to have eyes in these types of matchups. Colin gets the dub.
Speaking of eyes, I was right about this next one. Eric versus Chris Colby. Eric picks up the W. I picked Eric. Fitzy and the coin picked Chris Colby.
Then we had Cash taking on Chris Patino. Everyone picked Cash. Cash got the win.
Next one was the Battle of the Hostesses. Fitzy versus Corby. Everybody picks Corby, and everybody's right.
All right. So on this one, I do have something to say, Corby. I was dumb enough that on Monday Night Football, I had hope for Alex Collins. and for those of you who didn't watch Monday Night Football, you saw just about as much Alex Collins as the rest of us.
Oh, my God.
1.7 points for RB1 on that pitiful offense. I don't know. I think maybe Russ can't cook.
I was sweating it a little bit, too, because I was really, really mad on Sunday when they just decided that Aaron Jones wasn't going to do much. Yep. And, shame on me for even considering starting him. Like, what the fuck was I thinking? That's like a dumb glory play. Dumb. I should have played Dylan, and if I had lost it because I didn't, I would have been really mad. Alex Collins, he is so bad.
I cannot explain, but I can explain why. Because I had the two Titans running backs who both put up 100 yards on my bench. My thinking was, I know Alex Collins is the only running back in Seattle, and I don't know which one of these running backs in Tennessee is going to be good. Turns out both the ones on the running team are going to be good. The one on the shitty Seattle offense is going to it. It is
Right.
so obvious in hindsight, and
Right.
I'm not on a 4-game losing streak because I'm good at fantasy football. There's a reason I'm losing. Okay, Chuba Hubbard didn't even play after CMC went down.
Yeah.
I I am in a lot of trouble. Is all I gotta say.
You're in trouble. So let's close out week 12 with the Adam versus Brandy matchup, where everybody picked Brandy, the coin, me, and Fitzy, and Brandy pulls off the W. This is the only matchup I have specific notes on, because I just want to say, Brandy, you experienced one of the greatest feelings in fantasy football. You traded for Myles Gaskin, you traded for Carson Wentz, and you traded for Leonard Fournette. Who did you get those players from? You got them from Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Who went off this week? All of those guys. And who did you trade away? You traded away Travis Kelce, you traded away Kenyon Drake, and you traded away Allen Robinson to get all those guys. And guess how many points all those guys had against you? 0. No points. Bye weeks aside, it sounds better when you say that Travis Kelce had 0. I just want to say that it's an amazing feeling, and I'm very happy for you that you got to experience it.
Plus, I mean, hey, when you've got two defenses on your team and the starting one scores more points, it's a good feeling. You know, it's a good feeling this week.
It finally worked out.
Oh man, but the other thing here is, this was Brandy's second time this year scoring over 180 points against Adam. It is the 5th time that anyone has scored 180 points against Adam. Nobody else has had this happen more than twice. Adam's had it happen 5 times. Chris Colby, for comparison, has not had anyone score 180 points against him. Brandy, you do it twice to Adam. I mean, that is brutal. I love it.
Is Brandy the new Adam killer?
Ooh, let's discuss. The clean sweep on the season says yes.
Okay, well, I guess our current standings for the season for the pick'em is Fitzy at 46-26, Corby at 43-29, and the coin still 50-50 at 36-36.
I love to see the coin being a coin. I also love. I went 10-2 in the 2 weeks we had off. Even though I'm bad at fantasy football, I might be good at fantasy football.
Yes, there you go. There you go.
So we breezed through those. We're going to be looking a little bit more because we're into the interesting part of the season here. Weeks 13 and now 14, where fates are decided. Who will make it to the playoffs and have that Cinderella run, and who's going to be swept aside? Everyone who's sitting there at 7th or 8th place right now is looking up at 5th and 6th and deciding how they're going to lose. People in 6th and 5th are saying, oh God, I'm sweating. So I wanted to run through each team, talk first about the ones who are, top and bottom, like a sandwich. The bread is still noteworthy, but it's less interesting than the sloppy stuff in the middle. So let's start out with the teams that are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. And first, we got to say it, Mike, sorry, bud. This makes 7 out of the last 8 years in this league that you've missed the playoffs. But you've had a fun time along the way. I mean, think of the team names. Think of how much fun it's been owning Saquon Barkley this year. Fun.
Mike, your season's been over for a while. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Next, we got Adam, who's made a valiant push despite being cursed. And I feel like Adam's been cursed every year. This is surprising to me. 5 of the last 6 years, Adam has missed the playoffs. We don't think about Adam as missing the playoffs. We have 5 out of the last 6 now. And he's 5th in points for. He's ahead of me after last week. So the only difference between Adam and Mike and they're only making the playoffs once is the follow through. I looked at this one. It was the same year in this long drought for both of them. In it was 2018 that Mike and Adam both made the playoffs. Adam won the championship. Mike had a first round exit. He's now lost while Adam lives on in the annals of why do boys make history. Even so, part of me has to wonder, is Adam really into fantasy football after all, after the skid?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Don't hurt me, bro. Nobody loves anything more than Adam loves fantasy sports.
Adam, to me, you're like the little engine that could. You, like, if we were giving out fantasy awards, I would give you the little engine that could award, because no matter what, no matter how much your team sucks, you are like just the most dedicated fantasy manager. Like, maybe next year, I guess. I don't know.
It's like watching an episode of That's So Raven. Adam has a vision that he's going to miss the playoffs, and he does everything he can frantically to try to get in. But it's already been decided, Adam. You cannot win.
It's over, dude. It's over.
Another surprise looking at the bottom feeders, people who are eliminated, is Chris Patton. It's sad to see such a stalwart of the league have a year like this, but for all that's been said about Mike and Taylor, Chris Patton's Fem Shep team has the fewest points scored in the league this year.
I have the same note.
I don't know, man. It might look at first glance like a miracle could let him slip in because of where he stacks in, but since Taylor and Chris are playing each other this week, the fewest wins to get into the playoffs this year is going to be 7. Chris is out.
Yeah, Chris, ultimately, I think the fantasy gods were against you this year. You have so many injuries, it's not even funny. And you've made so many trades that have not panned out for you. I mean, like I said before, there's always next year. And I think, I just don't see you making playoffs, because I just think that you've given up at this point, which is, I'm usually not one to be like condoning giving up, but your team is like just so fucked. It's not even funny. Like it's done. So
it mathematically impossible, but from the soggy bottom of the sandwich, let's go to the upper crust here. And it's going to start with you, Corby. The fewest wins you need to clinch a playoff spot at this point is 9. You're the number 1 seed in the standings and in my heart. And I don't know, is there any, I don't need to worry gloating that you want to squeeze in here?
No, I just think it feels great to be back after missing last year by 0.04 points. I'm not going to toot my own horn, because when I did that, when I was in the playoffs and I was undefeated in the regular season, I was very, very, very rude. And I was out the first week after my bye week in playoffs. So I'm not going to do anything. I'm a little bit hesitant on stuff. I'm happy with where my team is. I think I've got good depth, but I've got a couple of question marks that I'm looking to fill. But I'm just happy to be here, really.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. And like we talked about the people who are eliminated and how they've had a lot of struggles. Corby, you've made it into the playoffs in 7 out of 9 seasons in this league. And sort of amazingly, the 2 times that you've missed, you've still had the highest points scored for anybody who missed the playoffs. So you're just an ultra consistent manager, always at the top.
I do what I can.
Now, Eric might not need a bye week, but he's in line for one right now. He might not need that bye week because he's just going to beat everyone. When Brandy was on the pod, I asked her, is it time for Eric to push the panic button? And I said it a couple weeks later. I'll say it again. He has pushed the launch button instead. I don't know if we've ever seen an 0-3 team immediately go on this type of tear. Right, Corby?
Like when we used to play Halo with Tim Rookie and he'd have the craziest win streak? That's Eric right now. He is doing his best Tim Rookie impression. He is unstoppable. He's got a tough matchup this week, though, which, again, we'll talk about later.
It's a rocket race to the top.
Nice.
No. I mean, Eric's coming off of a championship and, clinching his 4th playoffs run in 5 years. There's a theme here. We're going to continue to see the playoff rich are getting playoff richer in this league.
Yep.
And yeah, the next one here is Colin. Colin hasn't clinched it yet, but I'm going to count him as part of the upper crust here. We're going to get into some scenarios here. Colin's points 4 put him in a strata where in order to miss the playoffs, he would need to lose out, have Chris Colby win both of his games, and outscore Colin by 70. I would also have to beat Colin and then lose to Chris Cloud next week in such a way where we both outscore Colin by 100. Basically, it's not happening. So this marks a bounce back because last year was Colin's first time ever missing the playoffs in this league.
Oh my God.
Right? You can count the year he didn't play, but I'm not gonna.
No, that's fine.
Colin does, however, have, he's got only one way out of the playoffs, but he's got a few ways to get into the 1 seed here, or at least into a bye. I've included a link for a simple, easy to follow guide for the listeners to see the paths to the number 1 seed. I got as far as the 1 seeds, and then it got a little bit too complicated, and I didn't want to do the playoff seeding.
What the fuck, Fitzy?
We've also not yet written here, and the listeners will be seeing it, is Cash and Fitzy still have a shot, but we'll get into it. So again, click the link in the description if you'd like to read more.
Colin, yeah, you're going to make playoffs. Not always bright for you. Like, you just lost CMC. You potentially lost Kissy for a while, maybe, depending on how his neck or head is doing. Might be tough sledding, but you're definitely going to be in playoffs, I think.
Now next is Tyler. And this is another team that hasn't clinched, but having the most points scored in the league is going to help you distinguish yourself from other teams in the bubble. So here we go. Tyler is in a spot where he has to play Mike and Taylor to end the season. So again, even though he's 7-5, couple wins away from clinching, I'm going to go ahead and say that Tyler has clinched playoffs.
Yep,
and
sure.
Anything could happen, but not a lot is likely to happen.
Yeah, no, agree. Got nothing to add.
Yeah, Tyler only has missed the playoffs 1 time in the entire time we've been doing this league, back in 2015. Supremely consistent managers at the top. All 4 of you who are in, proven that fantasy football is a skill-based sport. Now, we've covered 7 teams, but these 5 is where the fun is really at. Yeah. And we've got a couple of key matchups to highlight here. We're going to start with Brandy because I love a comeback story. Brandy's 5-7, was 4-7, got the win they needed against Adam, got the points they needed to make themselves competitive in the points for. Here's what Brandy needs to get in. Number 1, you have to win out. You lost to both these teams earlier in the year, but you can definitely flip it here. I believe in that. Number 2, you need a little bit of help. Somehow you need to leap over 3 teams, and it could be any of the 4 teams directly above you. There's about 100 permutations to how it could go, but a key here, you should be rooting for Taylor to win against Chris Cloud this week, because you really need all the 6-6 teams to lose at least 1. And, well, I'm probably going to help Chris Cloud when we face in week 14. So you want him to get a loss here in week 13. You do get to face Chris Colby in week 14. That's going to be a huge matchup for you. If all breaks your way, you get a little bit of control over your destiny. And finally, you're definitely rooting for Adam to beat Chris Colby this week. Just gives you a little bit of extra wiggle room. I'll say it, sure wouldn't hurt for Colin to put the smack down on me either. You could definitely, there's a world where you could hop over the 7-5 yourselves.
I've seen weirder things in fantasy football, Brandy. I'm saying don't give up.
Oh yeah, there's like I said, 100 different ways. And I mean, another thing is you kind of really want to win out, like smack some teams around a little bit. It's not a must, but if you outscore me and Chris Colby by 30 points from here on out, you just get a couple extra lottery tickets. And 5-7, you've got a real shot.
All right, let's address the elephant in the room here. Taylor, you're 6-6. You've given up, and you're still basically in. You get to control some of your destiny here by playing Chris Cloud this week. And you just need Chris Colby to lose one of his next 2 matchups. It's so much simpler to break these things down when there's no points for consideration to be had.
Yeah, no, true. Taylor needs more wins is what Taylor needs. There's not a whole lot of points for jumping that's going to happen there. But that is not the case for our next 2 players, Chris Colby and Chris Cloud. I'll start with Chris Cloud because you're playing your direct competition these next 2 weeks, so you really control your destiny. It's Taylor, and then it's me. If you win out, you're in. And I should say you're almost in. You would need Chris Colby to lose 1 game, or you'd need for me to lose against Colin this week. That might sound complicated, but I am going to lose against Colin this week. So win and you're in.
Yeah, Chris is on a 2-game win streak at this point, and I just love when fantasy is like this, when all of the bubble teams are facing off against each other. It is just like some of the most exciting fake football you can even have.
we're all congealed in the middle here like a thick slice of spam. I love it.
Yeah.
And yeah, Chris Cloud on a 2-game winning streak, and playing for a second playoff appearance in a row after 4 years of not making it in. That would be big. Meanwhile, Chris Colby has already made playoffs 2 years in a row, looking to make it a third. Not really controlling his destiny, playing a couple teams that are more or less eliminated. We talked about Brandy, but definitely the two feistiest teams at the bottom of the standings in Adam and Brandy. That also means you're hoping for a couple of things to go your way. Chris, you don't need it, but you're going to be rooting for Taylor to win this week to keep Chris Cloud off your heels, give you a little bit of breathing room there. Another one you're rooting for is just, again, you want Colin to beat me. You're going to be happy.
Chris, So Chris, on you, for me, I don't have much to add here, except for you are a scrappy gym rat that won't give up and that you're still hanging around. And I wish the best for you, my friend.
Which brings us to Sir Celts. How often do you see a 7-1 team that everybody knows is going to end up on the bubble for making it into the playoffs?
See, this is your 4th loss in a row. You've had 4 losses in a row. What is your strategy going into these next couple of weeks here?
My strategy these next couple of weeks is, I don't like to bring the divine in, but I just have to pray, especially this week against Colin. Week 13 is not supposed to be when you have 4 buys, but I've got 4 buys, and I mean, 2 of them are Tennessee running backs. I wish I could have learned something and dropped one of them, but I feel like I can't drop either of them. Chuba Hubbard, I feel like I learned that he's not going to be the guy, but I don't want to drop him. My other guy on a buy is Devontae Adams. I don't think I'm going to drop Devontae Adams. What am I going to do?
I don't think that you can drop Devontae Adams.
So what I'm trying to say, Corby, is I think I might be starting Alex Collins in the flex again. Oh, God. In games this year where Chuba Hubbard has not been my RB1, I just haven't been good. And so far this year, I had one stretch. I peaked for 3 weeks where I scored 160 or more 3 times in a row. Those 3 straight weeks happened to come against the 3 worst teams in terms of points for. So I didn't even peak at the right time. If I sound pissed, I'm having fun this year. It's fun that it's interesting, but I wish I could be interested in somebody else's team. I wish I was in your position, Corby.
Right. Yeah.
I'm the monkey that gets to dance for everybody else. It's awful.
I had the same feeling last year, so it's not a good feeling. It's exciting, but it sucks.
Yeah, no, when your team was 0.4, haha, you really were saying haha, but inside you were crying a little bit.
A little bit? Dude. Oh my God.
So, hey, my matchups, what I'm rooting for is a miracle this week against Colin. And I am also really, really trying to root for, I need Taylor to win this week. If Taylor wins against Chris Cloud this week, I'm feeling a lot safer next week. I'm rooting for Chris Colby to lose both of his next 2 matchups. So, sorry to both of the Chris's. I wish the Chris nothing but a good Chris toilet bowl these next couple weeks. Ugh.
Yeah, so let's just hop right into these next couple weeks, and by these next couple, I mean let's just talk about next week because I don't have time to talk about week 14. So let's start with Adam versus Chris Colby. This one I've billed as a battle of the 2 most motivated fantasy managers in this entire league. Adam doesn't give a fuck, and he is looking to play spoiler, and that's totally awesome. I love that. Chris, you're continuing to flirt with a playoff spot, but I think with no Dalvin and no Darren Waller, you're probably going to be in some trouble this week, and I assume that you're not starting Ty Johnson as your running back too. In any case, I am going to take Adam here. He's getting Kelsey back. I just think that his team is healthier, and I think it's going to be a better win for him.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it kind of comes down to who do you like more, Elijah Mitchell or Ty Johnson, right? I'm not going to say neither because I hate Elijah Mitchell so much. To me, this one, we've been looking at Kyler Murray these last few weeks and kind of hoping, when does he get back? When does he get healthy? And if we think this is the week, then I think you got to pick Chris Colby here. But I'm kind of with you. Adam is so motivated to win. If you believe in curses, Chris Colby's going to put up 180 points again this week. But I'm going to say he only puts up 160 against Adam, and Adam somehow pulls off a win.
And as always, welcome back after a long vacation. The coin.
The coin wants Chris Colby. Our next matchup is Tyler taking on Mike Bakanowitz. Interesting fact, I guess. Here's an interesting fact. If you look at the matchup right now, Mike is projected to win. Tyler hasn't set his lineup yet.
Yeah.
He's probably going to play Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
He's probably going to play a running back. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Tyler here.
This one I have billed as the battle for Megabed. So which of these two competitors is going to be sleeping in the crack of Megabed? So yeah, I'm taking Tyler here.
And the coin is also tailing us here. Just taking cash.
In our next matchup, we've got the battle of two people who really enjoy singing country songs together. That's right, folks. It's Chris P versus Brandy. I'm taking Brandy here because Chris P's team is fucked, and I feel like he's given up.
First, we're going to go with the coin. The coin wants Brandy. I don't think I do. Listen, Chris Pano has not been very good. Oh, wait, hold on a second. He started Adrian Peterson last week?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm taking Brandy. That's all I have to say. The next matchup is me versus Colin. Yeah. We've already talked about this one a little bit. I've already spoiled who I think is going to win this matchup, and it ain't me. It's not just because of recency bias either. We talked a couple times about, people who have particular matchup strengths against others in league history. I'm about average. I think in this league I've won something like 46% of my games, below, but not bottom feeder. Colin has beaten me 10 out of the 11 times we have ever played each other in the regular season. 10 out of 11. and there's no reason why it's not going to be 11 out of 12.
Oh my God.
The coin is exactly 500 on the air, and the coin clearly doesn't have eyes or ears or a brain because it's picking me. But yeah, it's Colin by a mile.
This is we've got the fighting Irish battle here. Which of these laddies is going to give the other one a shiner the size of the Blarney Stone? Fitzy, I've been about your team all season. It kind of sucks though. Colin, I've liked your team all year too. I think your team isn't that great either. Think about I'm going to list these names of these players, the unsexiest players that are in you guys' starting lineups, just by name. Just ignore stats. Hunter Renfrow, Van Jefferson, Alex Collins, Devin Singletary. These teams are looking like the Great Potato Famine. You know what I'm saying? Fitzy, I can't take you. It's going to be Colin.
All right. Hunter Renfrow is like good mashed potatoes, with the cream and the butter. You might not think it's sexy, but it's a great cornerstone to a good meal.
Sure.
It might be your least favorite side, but it's filling. I love Hunter Renfrow. What I really don't love is Devin Singletary. Anyway, let's keep it positive. We talked about Eric's team name, Colin. Team name, so good. I love Conky Thong.
Yeah, it's good. And you're putting him in the flex this week.
So happy.
Roll with the conch. Love it. Next matchup here, we've got Taylor versus Chris Cloud. The battle of two people who were in high school band together, I'm pretty sure. I'm done picking Taylor. So for the first time this season, I will take Chris Cloud.
Wow. All right. Bucking the trend, Corby. I'm going to first say the coin is with you. And to make this matchup interesting, I'm going to look forward to next week. We all know that Colin's going to beat me. And if my predictions are right, Chris Cloud and I are about to face each other down next week, both at 7-6 in a winner-take-all, loser-leave-town pre-playoff match. I'm excited for it. And just because of that, I've got to pick Chris. The fantasy gods want something interesting to happen, and that would sure be fun. In our final matchup of the week, we have Corby taking on Eric, Grandpa Tom versus the big winner. First, I want to ask you a question, Corby, before we get into it. Are you looking to bench your players, rest them now that you've, secured a playoff spot?
Right now, no. I think my plan here is to intimidate. So I've decided to leave my best player in the starting lineup and just see how that feels for the first couple days of the week, and then go from there. I've got to talk with everybody, give them a quick pep talk, and we'll decide what the team makeup will be.
I don't know about your best player. I want to highlight something on your team. Corby, I am just straight up jealous of your team. You've got 2 running backs on your bench that I would love to have in my starting lineup. And I think your best player, Dawson Knox, get this, he has as many receiving touchdowns as DeAndre Hopkins this year, which might sound like a little injury shout out, but like they've both missed 3 games with injury. He's just good, huh?
Yeah, he's good. I don't know why. I don't know where he came from, but he's great. Yeah, it's probably bad taste for me to like claim this as the matchup of the week, because there's some pretty big playoff implications in terms of seeding here. I want first seed because I want to play the worst team, obviously. Eric wants it for the same reason. Eric, your core team is super strong with Patty and Jonathan Taylor, but your supporting cast a little volatile. Chase Claypool, he's yucky. I don't like him. Meanwhile, I'm my own worst enemy, and I will do something to fuck up my lineup by starting Jacoby Myers when he doesn't do that great, or Devontae Smith when he has a down week. With that in mind, I'm still taking myself because I'm not afraid of Jonathan Taylor. I got the GOAT.
And I don't think I flipped it yet. So the coin.
Oh, did you pick me? I didn't
I picked you.
I didn't even hear.
Sorry. You know what? I might not have said I picked Corby. I might have just said your best player is Dawson Knox.
Yeah, I interjected and
sorry, Thunder. It was a worthwhile interjection. Absolutely. Okay. And the coin is with us. The coin wants Corby in this matchup.
If you're taking notes here, folks, that's right. Fitzy and I picked the same matchups for everyone, and we're going to see some contrarian coin flipping again. Oh, I think we will.
Well, I mean, what do you want me to do? Pick Mike against Cash?
I know, right? Jesus. All right, let's hop into bets of the week. Let's. This is from a couple weeks ago. Most of these are from week 11 stats. I don't even know if I can't remember. It doesn't matter. So let's start with Aaron Jones missing over under 2.5 games. I took the under. Adam took the over. I won because Aaron Jones only missed 1 game.
Which I almost want to call it 1.5 games. Wouldn't affect the bet, right?
Yeah, right. He might as well have missed the whole game.
Did he really play last weekend? Our next matchup was a Fitzy versus Adam bet, Brandy versus Tyler. Adam doubled down and took Brandy in the straight up matchup. I took cash, and Adam gets my cash. Adam wins.
Our next one here, we did a heads versus tails total coin flip, winning opening tosses. I took tails. Fitzy took heads. I can't find this data anywhere, so we can just punt this if you want, or we can look somewhere else.
So I said this before we got on air, that like on my to-do list here is just go back through all of our bets, because we haven't paid each other anything. We're just if I win 40 on the season and you win 42, I'm just going to pay you $10, Yeah. So we just kind of haven't been keeping great track for a couple of weeks. Yeah. So it's on my to-do list, and I'll see if I can effort that one. Another one that we don't even have written down is, I think I made a bet with Adam about Van Jefferson versus OBJ. And then they just were on bye.
Oh yeah, right. And then it was last week.
Yeah, they both had long touchdowns, which was awesome. Like, they both had that. I just don't remember who I picked. So on the subject that we got to go back through and comb through, Adam, I'll be sending the Venmo request or payment your way.
We also had another bet for Adam versus Fitzy, where it was Ayuk versus Agnew. Fitzy wins with Ayuk's 21 points versus Agnew's 6 points.
Yeah, a couple of A-plus receivers in Ayuk and Agnew, but Brandon Ayuk finally doing stuff. Very happy about that. The next one was me versus Corby. So finally getting into the co-host betting here. Latavius Murray, highest scoring running back on the Ravens. I said yes. Corby said no. And of course, Corby won that one. Corby was never not going to win that one as Devonta Freeman scores 20.
It was not the smartest bet from Fitzy, but let me now explain the worst bet that I have made on this entire podcast. Over under field goals / extra points missed, 2.5. I took the under, and there was an NFL record set for most missed extra points in the NFL in 1 week, 12. And I thought there was going to be under 2.5. Definitely, without a doubt, the worst bet I've made. No question. It's the stupidest thing I've ever done.
Didn't the Jags do something like miss 3 field goals in a single drive a couple weeks ago?
So fucking bad. What the fuck was I thinking? Holy shit.
God.
This final bet here, the closest to the pin that I actually somehow found the information for total accepted penalties in week 11. I don't have the exact number, but I know that it was a lot. So Fitzy picked the highest amount. He picked like 160 or something, and there was over 150 accepted penalties. I had 91 and Adam at 60 something. So Fitzy, you won that one. Okay, so why don't we just hop into this week's bets of the week? Fitzy, do you have anything for me? I have 2 this week.
I've got a couple swirling around in my head that I might throw your way. I'll have you start here.
Okay. We talked about one of these players earlier, and he's my tight end. He's Dawson Knox. But I also want to talk about your tight end, Mark Andrews. He's good. Is he like the number 1 this year? Number 1 tight end this year?
Oh, I will effort that real quick.
He might be. It doesn't matter. Mark Andrews versus Dawson Knox fantasy points this week.
I have to pick Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
I was half joking about the Alex Collins hope. I knew he wasn't going to do much. Yeah. When Mark Andrews caught that first touchdown, I was so pumped. Did you know that Lamar Jackson threw 4 interceptions while targeting Mark Andrews on Saturday night? Or on Sunday night, I mean?
No, I didn't.
Unbelievable. All 4 of his picks were thrown to Mark Andrews. If you had caught those 4, just think about it.
Right. Oh my God. I'd be pissed that I started fucking Aaron Jones.
The Sunday night miracle.
Right. No kidding.
So my first one was going to be a pretty simple playoff-based bet, because now that I've started looking at the playoff picture, I'm feeling spicy. My first one I want to float to you here. We've got 2 people clearly in first position right now. It's you and Eric. I would simply like to bet that one of you will not have a bye week by the time playoffs come around.
I think that we will both have bye weeks.
I will make that bet. Yeah. One of you is going to slip out.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'll give you the rationale because, again, Colin is only 1 game behind you, and he's playing me this week. So sure. I hate to keep beating this dead horse, but I'm that's my insider info.
All right, my next bet here is total yards of offense. The Washington football team or the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Who are they playing?
I don't know. Let me find out. I meant to write this down.
Pittsburgh is playing Baltimore.
Yes, Pittsburgh is playing Baltimore, and the Washington football team is playing. Oh God, they're the Raiders.
Big Ben just looked so broken against the Bengals. It's recency bias, but I can't pick them, right? No. It would be crazy for me to not pick the football team.
I'm not married to this bet either, trust me, because I don't want to fucking take the Steelers.
Okay.
No way.
Well, we could flip it around then. We could take the other side of those games. Would you take the Las Vegas Raiders, or would you take the Baltimore Ravens?
I would probably take the Ravens here.
Oh, I want the other R words. I want the Ravens. I want the Raiders.
All right. Okay, cool. Sweet.
Quick sidebar. The bet that we're going to recap in a couple of weeks is, the season-long stuff. Derek Carr currently leading the league in passing yards.
Is he really?
He is. I love it. I'm so happy for him.
Ah, shit. I'll tell you who's leading in touchdown catches, Bryan Edwards or Jalen Waddle. Spoiler alert, it's not Bryan Edwards.
Yeah, no. He has not been receiving a whole lot, huh? Not been receiving a whole lot.
He's been receiving the cold shoulder from Derek Carr.
I've got, we're getting closer to the end of the season. I'll say by the end of the fantasy season. So just a couple weeks away. We've got a couple of running backs who are very close in total rushing yards, and I just think it's very interesting that they are so close. We've got Najee Harris with 708 rushing yards, and we've got Lamar Jackson with 707. Now, I said running backs, but they're a yard apart. Who do you think is going to finish with more after 2 weeks?
Lamar Jackson.
I'll take Najee Harris. He's got a 1 yard lead. I'm already winning.
Yeah, sure. That's true.
Dipping here into the mailbag in no particular order here. We're going to start with Dewey Boyman, who has, I'm going to spoil it. This is one of my favorite comments I think we've gotten ever on the pod. And it's simply Colin commenting on his relationship with our last guest, Adam. Adam, you're maybe the most interesting person I know. My admiration and disgust for you have each grown exponentially after this pod. Never change. Not that you were ever going to. That's part of your appeal.
Dewey Boyman, thanks for always telling it as it is and never sugarcoating your feelings. We've got another comment here from Chris Colby, who highlights to us that Jamar Chase continued his 13 points every other week streak today. And it's still happening. Like, it's probably going to happen this week.
Well, that depends. Is this week? You're right. This week isn't. It's going to happen. It's already locked. It's incredible. What a statistical anomaly. I love it. Next, it's Mike McConaughey chiming in again, just on the nature of the guest. And I guess I'll say there's next two in a row here. Mike says, all I have to say about this video is that I love Adam more than Jamal Williams, Bryan Edwards, and Kenny Golladay combined. So that's a lot.
It's a lot of love.
And then Chris Colby says 4 minutes in, and I'm going to say Adam is my favorite guest.
It was all right. Like a 6 out of 10.
I mean, coming from just Chris Colby, that's like, look in the mirror, dude.
True. Chris Colby comments a lot here, so he's got something else here. He says, season-long bum bet alert. Tim Boyle started and played a game this week. Tim Boyle had negative 0.92 points. What are the odds that I pick a backup that actually plays and then he finishes the game with negative points? If none of our backups play for the rest of the year, I just lose. Bad luck, bad boy strikes again. I don't know if this is true or not.
This is true. I texted
true.
I texted Chris Colby about this like before it was certain that Goff was going to be healthy for Thanksgiving, saying like, this is incredible. And he said, I hope it ends this way.
Oh my God, it is true.
We're going to win. Jalen Hurts tweaked his ankle. Who knows?
Well, guess what? I'm in the lead right now because Drew Lock has 23 passing yards and an interception. So currently I'm in the lead with 0.04 points.
Wait a minute. 23 yards is less than a point. He has a pick?
He threw a pick, yeah.
Isn't that -2 or is that -0.5 now?
I can't remember how it's scored now. I'm pretty sure he has 0.04. Let me just double check. Oh, fuck. He has negative 0.96 too.
I'm in the lead with 0. What?
Shit, I thought he had 0.04. What the hell was I looking? I think I was looking in a different league because I forgot our picks are so strong.
So to answer Chris's question, what are the odds that I pick a backup that actually plays and then finishes the game with negative points? I guess 2 out of 3.
Yeah, 2 out of 3, Chris.
Pretty good.
I'm right there with you, buddy. Dewey Boyman's going to chime in again and say, post-bye week episode better be 3 hours. It's not going to be 3 hours.
I don't know. We haven't done the outro song yet. Maybe I'll find something nice. Speaking of songs, Mike McConaughey chimes in and says, my favorite T-Swift song is Style. Makes sense. Mike's got a lot.
Mike does have a lot of style. And finally, Adam chimes in and says, I'm on top of the world.
I got to say, I feel the same way every Saturday listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
There's something about it,
Yep.
Love listening to the pod.
Love listening to my own voice.
Yeah, nothing sounds better than your own voice. That's what they say. No, really, on top of the world listening, and thanks to the listeners again for making this possible. We wouldn't be here without you, and we would not be here without you. Is it too early for me to say it? Smashing the like button. If you don't smash the like button, we don't know if we should make the pod anymore, guys. So we need you to smash.
It's true. There's only a couple weeks left. We've only got a couple more episodes. Gotta get more likes. The more likes we get, the happier we are.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe the last few episodes ever. I don't know, right? So on that, dire, perhaps threatening note, that will conclude episode 12 of the Why Do Boys Make podcast. Thanks, as always, for listening. I'm not going to say it. You all know what to do. My name is Fitzy.
And I'm Corbett.
And ring the bell as well. And gamers, game on.
Here we go. Mamma mia!